properties, also manage it. Because if you think about it, if I have a property management employee and I say I'll give you $200 every time you rent out a property, then they rush people into the houses and it's not good for the owners. So early on, Ryan and Terry came to me and said, hey, what if we just rented out properties for your management company, but you decide who you want to take? We'll bring you candidates, but then you screen them and decide who's best for the properties. And we really like that because we like pushing leasing outside of the umbrella of management. So they formed Place to Live Rentals back in 2005. So it was just a few months after I formed Alpine, because we met, it must have been within 6 months. And ever since then, they've always had a very close business relationship with us. Their whole goal is to get qualified people to rent properties. Our whole goal is to make sure that we get the best qualified person. Now we have people like Sarah, who she's a completely independent leasing agent. We have several people like her who just independently find people to rent from us. Technically, Sarah's in competition with Place to Live Rentals. But obviously, you know, they communicate on a daily basis. If she's got somebody really interested in a property, they're highly qualified, then maybe one of the Place to Live Rentals teams will shift that to someone else. Does that make sense? So at any given time, Place to Live Rentals has about 3 people that are out showing houses all day long to interested applicants. And then what's the breakdown of work here in the office, Terry? Like, how do you guys divide it up?
Agents are out showing, and then we have Jess, who does all of our processing. She verifies employment, rental history, pulls their credit, and then we give all that information to Heather over at Alpine. And then Ryan and I spend our day managing those employees and then acquiring properties for Alpine and for Place to Live Rentals. We go to that 4 to 5 auctions a week, and we're always on the MLS or running down big portfolios of properties.
Yeah, so like right now, we just have, there's a local investor here in town who gave us a list of a couple hundred properties that he owns, and so we've been going through that list, deciding what would fit with our model neighborhoods. Jess, about how many applications do you think you're seeing a week?
Geez, well, like probably 40.
Yeah, probably about 40, and then we get about 10 to 15 of those approved.
Yeah, and think about, for us to even accept it, there's a lot of people that call us and say, hey, I saw a sign for that property, or I was on Craigslist and I saw, or I saw on your website. And Ryan and Terry's team will talk to them and say, well, have you had an eviction recently? No, then you're out. And so of the applications, there's probably, 10 times the number of calls and inquiries about the property. So they go from 400 people call, 40 give applications, 10 to 15 get approved. So it's a very rigorous process, but that's why our eviction rate probably only averages 3%, if that. We have a very low rate of defaults from the properties, because once they've jumped through all those hoops, their success rate's really high. And this office all day long is walking applications over to the management company next door, and they're just thinking in terms of what's best for the investor. So instead of giving the managers a bonus like $200 when they rent a property, we say their bonus is based on the percentage of rent we collect. So they only get paid if rent money comes in. These guys only get paid if they bring good tenants. And so they're good systems that are set up. It's a good natural check and a balance. So the management side, they hate evictions. They hate tenants that don't pay rent, because that's a nightmare, because they have to call the owner up and explain to them. These guys don't have the liability for that, but they don't want to waste their time taking an application and showing a property to not have it get accepted. And we found that it's much better to have systems that have checks and balances like that than it is to say, put good tenants in, just make sure you do a good job. You want to naturally incentivize people. So that's worked really well for us, and because of Ryan and Terry as owners, because of the in-depth knowledge they have street by street of rental rates, that's translated into a phenomenal knowledge base that they use to buy properties. Because now they know when they go to auction, this house in this neighborhood on this street today would rent for and would have this value, and then they can ballpark the repairs. And that's where we've had a fantastic relationship with them. Okay, so let's go next door and check out property management.